This is the heat of the Wyfold Challenge Cup. Thames Rowing Club A in the black versus City of Sheffield Rowing Club in the red. Off they move in the opening stages of the Wyfold.
Yeah, we've had sort of a flurry of 8s races, and now we're dropping down to the 4s, who have to kind of do it all themselves. They're steering, they're cooling, but it looks like it's been a really, really strong start from the Thames Rowing Club here, and they've managed to push out quite a bit in that first portion of the race and settle onto their rhythm now. And if they can settle onto a rhythm where they can just watch and respond, I think they're going to be in for potentially a good showing here.
Yep, and the form book is going to be with Thames. They're one of the strongest crews in this event, as they are. We saw them earlier in the day in the Thames Challenge Cup, and they're racing against City of Sheffield, who came through the qualifiers. So over here is talking about the qualification regatta, the qualifiers you might call it. Not every crew here gets to race. What happens is the stewards, the committee, look at who's been the on-form crews of the season, who should come and get to race here. We want the fastest people to win the races, so if you're one of those crews, you probably are pre-qualified, as we call it. We sent out a list last week. But if you're not pre-qualified, you have to go to the qualification regatta, which City of Sheffield did. Great to see them here. Love some participation from the north, being a northerner myself, but the absolute form book is with Thames.
I mean, I really like how Thames is rowing. I think obviously they've been able to relax into it a little bit now, but I like how they look like they've got a lot of time when they're out of the water. They do all the work in the water, and then they can manage to like relax, let the boat do some work, and just enjoy those moments when the blades are out. And it's obviously paying off for them, but also really impressive in performance from Sheffield Rowing Club, because when you come through qualification, there's a lot of emotional attachment to that. It's a big high, and it's such an achievement. And then you come on to the Henley Royal Racing Regatta schedule, and you're expected to back it up. So really impressive performance from them as well.
Yeah, tapping it along there. Bousey, Ryan Jones, the City of Sheffield, Aidan Joyce, Toby Proudfoot, Thomas Phillips. A little bit digging, a little bit in the 2-seat there. For me, I would like to just see just the spoon go in a little bit there. The whole oar is going in the water, so I think a bit of tiredness, a bit of fatigue. They really put it in the beans at the start of this race.
And that is what you tend to pay for in Henley Royal Regatta, right? I think it's a race that a lot of crews go out to win from the start, and often you are doing more than you would ideally like to in the first portion of the race, and then the later parts it is kind of a hold on for dear life, let's get to the finish line. It's not a very enjoyable time of the race.
Yeah, that is the point of rowing, and when it's done well, it looks really relaxed. It looks like barely any effort, but let me tell you, there's power going down in these rowing boats still, and the skill is to be able to apply that power and to spread that out across the rowing race. If you know you're against one of the favourites of the race, which might be you are against Thames Rowing Club, you're going to give everything, aren't you, in those opening stages. And look at City of Sheffield, they've really pushed the limit and the edges of what's physically possible.
They really have, and these two boats are a good example of the different ways you can also rig the 4s. I think you can see Thames here has got the bucket rig, I think we call it over here in New Zealand.
What do you call it?
Tandem. A tandem.
Yeah, both girls, yeah.
I've had to sort of change my language, but yeah, I don't know if it was my favourite way to row. You've got to be very in sync if you're sitting in that tandem, and to be fair, Thames are doing it very well, but in that 3 and 2 combination, it's relatively difficult, but they're pulling it off very well.
Yeah, shot there, City of Sheffield coming towards us. You see the slight out of timing a little bit there. It's costing them each stroke. And I think that's what the difference when you look back at the Thames crew, just really nicely in time, rowing with little effort. You want to put those oars in with little effort as possible. You want to make sure all the effort comes from drawing your boat past that spoon.
You do as much effort as you can save, and the blade is heavy. If you can let it drop in by itself, there's a big portion of the stroke that actually the boat will do for you, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of finesse to get to that stage. And I think Thames is actually a really good example. It's obviously a little bit easier when you're a bit lower in rate, but they kind of look like they're effortless. They can drop the blade in and it just falls in by itself.
Thames Rowing Club there, getting some claps along the floating grandstand as they're going to hear that little beep to tell them they finished their first race here in the Wyfold Challenge Cup. They'll take a little breath as we look over Henley there. as we wait for City of Sheffield Rowing Club. The red of City of Sheffield, a little look round there for the bowman. Ryan Jones wears that line until he hears the beep to tell him their Henley is over. It's a win in the Wyfold Challenge Cup for Thames Rowing Club A over City of Sheffield Rowing Club.